Welcome back to Morning Coffee here on the Radio Vision Network. It is time for our sports update with our resident sports expert, Neil Villapiano. You know him from the MVP show every Saturday right here on Radio Vision Network. Good morning, Neil, and welcome back to Morning Coffee.
Morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, this hockey team in Philadelphia, for the first time in 20 some years, has won 10 games in a row. They cannot lose. The other night was a crazy flurry by the Colorado Avalanche in the last minute and a half of the game. The Flyers fought it off to win their 10th straight. Neil, will the Flyers lose any more games this year?
Maybe when they play the Devils. I don't know. But no, you have to. I give them a lot of credit. I mean, we talked about this a couple days ago. I got to give a lot of credit to the way the Flyers have been playing. They've come out of absolutely nowhere, and they're pretty much the talk of the NHL. And I think that they look like if they just stick to their system, there's no telling where this team can go. They're just playing very well, and it's important for them because obviously they don't want to. You obviously don't want to lose too much ground in the playoff race in the first half of the season because then it's a very long climb back to getting into the playoffs. But you have to get, like I said, you got to give them that entire team a lot of credit. They're scoring a lot of goals. They're playing better defense than they did early on in the season, and their goaltending by Steve Mason, Michael Neuver has just been, and Anthony Stolarz, a kid from around from where I'm from, has been playing very well. So they're every single part of their team has been playing tremendous, and that's huge for them as they've won these last 10 games.
Yeah, well, one of the things that's really been standing out for me is that the team looks like they can't lose right now. There is a mentality that I just it's so different for a Philadelphia team to have this mentality that they can't lose. You watch them play, even when they go down, they give up goals. There's no worry or fear at all in this team. It's so fun to watch a team that believes they can win night in and night out.
Yeah, the way the Flyers are playing, they're reminding me a lot of those Blackhawk teams, back in 2010, 13, and even 15, where, it doesn't matter what type of situation they're in, what type of hill they have to climb, they've come out of it and they've been able to come away and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. And I think it's just really impressive to see, and this is good hockey. This is the type of hockey that every single fan of their teams wants to see them play. And for Flyer fans, there's obviously there was the excitement, and what's kind of funny about this is that the excitement came around with the Stadium Series jerseys that came out a couple weeks ago, and obviously that was pretty exciting. And now you have this 10-game winning streak. Hockey in Philadelphia's been very exciting the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's so much better to be excited about the team playing than the jersey they're going to be wearing, right?
Right, absolutely. And the fact that they're a young team is also brings a lot of smile to a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of young talent on that team. So the Flyers play again Saturday against the Dallas Stars, I think. Something like that, 2 o'clock start. So we'll see if they can't make it 11 in a row. So, Neil, let's talk about last night. It was a lousy football game. They keep trying to shove these Thursday night football games down my throat. The Los Angeles Rams went into Seattle and got their butts handed to them. What happened?
Well, first of all, the Los Angeles Rams a couple days ago had fired their head coach, Jeff Fisher, even though they had just re-signed him and renewed his contract. But they fired him, and now this was the first game without their head coach. But yeah, no, they look like the same Los Angeles Rams. They really cannot seem to move the ball, regardless of whether Jared Goff or Case Keenum is under center. And I don't think it's necessarily the quarterbacks. I think it's the whole team in general. The only really good player you have, there's only really 2 good players that the Rams have, to be honest with you, and that's Aaron Donald, the defensive tackle, and Todd Gurley, the running back. Other than that, I can't really think of anybody else who's really stood out. And that, to me, is a problem. You can't win games in this league, and you won't be around as long in this league with very little talent. And last night it showed. I mean, the Seahawks just kind of, obviously the first half was pretty close, but in the second half, the Seahawks just turned it to another level and were able to come away with an easy victory.
Well, and we're talking about a Seahawks team that hasn't looked that good over the last couple of weeks. So it's like, all right, well, the Rams can cure what ails you, but the Rams, everybody kept telling me how good their defense was going to be, and even if they struggled at quarterback, they were still going to be able to win a bunch of games and all that. And it's just They have just not been able to get anything together. That doesn't make any sense to me that you give the coach a contract extension and then a week later you fire him. What the hell are they doing out there?
Yeah, it's really tough to answer that question. I mean, I don't really know the answer to that. I mean, you could ask that question to Browns fans who've spent years after years just not having much success, firing coaches left and right, drafting quarterbacks with their first overall pick, not having any much success, and it's just head scratching. But I think part of it has to do with the fact that you have to look at the ownership of the team, and you have to ask the question: are they really in to win it or not?
Right. Yeah, it's a crazy thing. They worked so hard to get that team out there. They've got to win, and they've got to win fast. There's a lot of pressure on them, and I don't know if they feel it. So, and Neil, I wanted to switch gears a little bit. Kind of sad news yesterday. One of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite broadcasters. I used to love him. He did a lot of basketball, and I used to love it when he popped in the MLB playoffs. Craig Sager passed away. He had battled
Yeah.
cancer for a long time, and let's just, why don't you give me your thoughts on Craig Sager? I always thought that he was one of the best.
Well, it was really tough last year watching the ESPYS and listening to his speech. It was definitely an emotional speech that he gave, and obviously everybody was really excited, including myself, when he got into remission. But unfortunately, he came back, and it was too much for him this time. And it's very sad that a person that was touched by so many people, not just in sports but everywhere. And it's just, there's so many things you can think about with Craig Sager. He's just been a great person for the NBA. All the NBA players love him. I was watching the Knicks Warriors game last night, and they spent a couple minutes talking about Craig Sager and giving him a lot of props. And he was just a great person, and he really, really was a great analyst. And I give him a lot of credit for putting up that the fight against cancer. They really fought it. And I really hope that one day they can find a way to cure all cancer and prevent a lot of these deaths for good people. They just prevent them from happening.
Yeah,
But all may Craig Sager rest in peace, and I will give my condolences to his family.
yeah, it's tough because look, a lot of people used to talk about his jackets and his clothes and all that stuff, but there was a lot of real substance in a guy like Craig Sager because not only was he a good person, he was a really, really good analyst and knew sports better
Right.
than most. So it's you're right. It is very, very sad.
Hmm.
Neil, what do I got to do Saturday morning around, I don't know, like what is it, like 10 or so? Like, what am I doing?
All right. Well, tomorrow at around 10 a.m., you will catch me on the newest edition of the NVP show. We got a bunch of different things to talk about. Obviously, we're going to do a couple bowl game previews for college football, so we're getting close to the beginning of those, so that should be pretty exciting. We're gonna preview some of the NFL games this week: Eagles versus Ravens, Giants versus Lions. Jets. The Jets and the Dolphins tomorrow, which is a head scratcher to me, playing on a Saturday, but it is what it is. We're gonna talk about the NBA, see how everything's going, and we're gonna talk a little bit about hockey. I got a few interesting topics. I won't say what we're talking about yet, but you should definitely tune in tomorrow at 10 o'clock. MVP show. With your host, me, Neil Villapiano. Should be another very, very interesting episode.
Nice. Love it. We will be right here, Neil, waiting with bated breath. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me this morning here on Morning Coffee.
No problem, Mark. Thanks for always having me.
No problem. My pleasure. That's Neil Villapiano. You can catch him every Saturday right here on the Radio Vision Network. I got to take a quick break, but you got to stay right there because I'm going to be right back here on Morning Coffee on the Radio Vision Network. Stick around.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
My dream job is to run and manage my own spa one day.
To be the general manager for the Jumeirah Hotel in Abu Dhabi, Dubai.
I feel that Merciers has prepared me very well for my future in the hospitality industry.
The kitchen is incredible.
You are planning the meal, doing all the costing and the recipes. You're in charge of everything going on in the kitchen.
They really do get you prepared, and they want to make sure that you have a job after college.
When it comes to injuries,
they're not all created equal.
that's why at Performance Spine and Sports Medicine,
Our team of doctors will coordinate and customize your care.
to provide the best treatment options using the area's most advanced medical technology
All with one goal in mind.
to get you back in the game,
We call life
pain-free,
drug-free.
surgery-free. That's what we do here at Performance Spine and Sports Medicine.
Get better faster.
Stay better longer.
Saving your business money is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Tanker Consulting Services, a payment solutions expert, will show you how with a free, detailed, written analysis illustrating your cost savings. We usually uncover savings between 10 and 25%, and sometimes more. We can help your business succeed by providing reliable and secure merchant payment solutions such as merchant services programs, point-of-sale systems, and ATM machines. TCS, one of the leaders in regional credit card processing consulting, offers electronic payments to merchants locally and nationwide through our preferred vendor programs. We work to keep business costs down with a comprehensive suite of quality products, services, and customized credit card processing programs exclusively tailored for your company. TCS is convenient, reliable, and innovative, with customer service available 24/7, 365 days a year. Our in-depth industry knowledge, partnership strategy, and innovative processing solutions allow for a specialized approach to providing merchant bank processing with 100% full fee disclosure. TCS is one-stop shopping for all your merchant services solutions. Our clients save money 100% of the time. Trust Tanker Consulting Services, the knowledgeable, professional, and friendly provider of secure payment services. We set the standard by which others are measured. Call now for a free written analysis. 609-922-0201.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
You already know that Voice over IP or VoIP is smart for business. But what's the smartest way to make the switch? Introducing Encero's Utility VoIP. Encero is a full-service provider, which means we're there for everything you need. From installing your system to comprehensive on-site training for your staff to providing world-class service, Encero is there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. At Encero, we've worked hard to engineer a better voice solution. We create a utility VoIP solution customized for you from the ground up. Our process starts with a readiness check, grooming of the network to support VoIP, and carrier upgrades for optimal bandwidth. We take the time to set up your VoIP the right way. Our superior technology means reduced downtime for you. And our flexible services are all-inclusive. Voicemail, call routing, caller ID, remote office mobility, even down to the hold music or messages. It's all there, and there's no additional cost for adding new features. What does that mean for you? It's everything you need for
Welcome back to Morning Coffee here on the Radio Vision Network. I am Mark Cook, and I am looking at the wrong camera, and now I'm looking at the right camera. So here we are. Thank you for joining me this morning. Oh, we're all good, folks. We're all good. So we got to talk about something important here. And it's such a bigger problem than I think that you realize. And we need to start making everybody understand that this is it's something that's really misunderstood, and we need to figure out how we can help our friends, our family, our loved ones, and really everyone we encounter that really struggles with this every single day, and that's stuttering. Her name is Jane Fraser. She is the international expert and president of the Stuttering Foundation, and she is on the line with me right now to help us get some of the facts about what's going on here. Good morning, Jane.
Good morning. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing well, thank you. But I'm concerned because, look, there's going to be a lot of holiday parties, a lot of dinners, and for the stutterer, this is a really tough time because it brings great discomfort in these, social situations.
I think a lot of people have trouble in social situations, whether they stutter or not. And I think the tips that are good for someone who stutters are actually good for all communicators. You know, walking into a holiday party is a stressful situation, especially if it's, for example, it's the boss is having the party and you want to put your best foot forward. And I think the most important thing to do is to realize that stuttering isn't something, certainly nothing to be ashamed of. And it's quite often important to just announce the colors up front. Say, you know, I'm a person who stutters sometimes, and move forward from there. And another tip that I have for the person who stutters themselves is talk about what the other person is interested in. Ask them about themselves and put them on the spot. You'll find that right away they're usually very happy to talk about themselves, and it takes the pressure off you as well. So I think that's probably good advice for everybody.
Now, you know, I think that most people understand like the audible, like the audible stuttering, but you know, maybe we should just give everybody the textbook definition and kind of go back and be like, okay, so what is stuttering? What causes it? And we know, I think we know about the cure side of things. So why don't we go through the kind of the basics?
Let's talk about the basics. It's a great idea. We know that stuttering is a communication disorder, and like you said, we know it when we hear it. There are 4 factors that contribute to stuttering that we think contribute. One is genetics. So in my family, my father stutters, my uncle stutters. I have a lot of first cousins who stutter. Another contributor is child development. That we see these little 2 or 3-year-olds that are super bright. They may have a vocabulary of an 8-year-old, but they have the motor skills of a 2-year-old. So you see a mismatch. That child is trying to say things that are way too difficult for their motor system. So that's sometimes with early childhood we see that kind of a causal relationship. Family dynamics play a role. You have a real quiet or shy child that's in a fast-moving family with high expectations. That can certainly contribute to stuttering. It's not the cause, but it can certainly contribute. And last but certainly not least is the neurological makeup of a child. And I think, you know, maybe a good comparison there would be how some people are excellent at shooting a basketball and getting it in the hoop. Someone else might be practicing 365 days a year and still can't. So our neurological makeup is different across the board. Some people are wildly fluent. People who are on television every night are on one end of the continuum. People who stutter maybe have a little bit more fragile system that would break down under stress. So a real good analogy would be if I asked you, Mark, to walk a plank that was on the ground. And you'd say, well, my leg muscles are fine. I can walk that plank. But if I lift that plank 10 feet in the air and I ask you to walk that same plank, you might say to me, I can't do it. Same muscles, same you. You walked it on the floor. How come it's 10 feet in the air? You can't walk it now. So that's maybe a really good analogy for people who stutter. Most of the time they can speak perfectly fluently, but stress does aggravate stuttering. The same way lifting a plank 10 feet in the air and asking you to walk it would cause you to perhaps have some trouble walking.
Now, Jane, is there a way to treat stuttering, or is there a way?
Indeed, there is.
Oh,
yes, absolutely.
Great.
Speech-language pathologists are the people that work with stuttering. And, you know, I like to use examples of some famous people who stutter. James Earl Jones is a good example of a person who may still stutter somewhat in conversational speech, but who can perform on the stage, who can perform in the movies, and be absolutely fluent. So, when he's not monitoring his speech, again, when he's not working hard on it, he would allow himself perhaps to stutter. But when he wants to communicate well, so I like to tell people, although adults, there is no cure for adults who stutter, certainly there is early intervention with the little ones that can prevent the problem. So again, it's the speech-language pathologists who deal with stuttering.
Yeah, and again, I'm talking to Jane Frazier, who's the president of the Stuttering Foundation. Now, Jane, this is kind of a really, I think this is a great thing that you guys now are offering the Stuttering ID card for those really high stress situations like encounters with police or at an airport screening where when the authority figure is trying to get the information and the stutterer is overwhelmed, now we have an identification card that can identify the stutter.
Oh, it's marvelous. And, it's free at our website, stutteringhelp.org, but you can get a free copy from us as well. Just call or email us. But, I think those are situations where almost anybody would have trouble speaking. Say you're going a little bit over the speed limit and you're stopped, you hear the siren behind you, and you're pulled over, and the policeman walks up to the car. These are really tough situations for everyone.
Yeah.
But imagine for someone who stutters. So that if you have that ID card right next to your driver's license in your billfold, you can pull it out, and it tells the officer right away, I'm a person who stutters. I'm not a suspicious person. I'm not a guilty person. I'm a person who stutters, and this is an extremely stressful situation. And although we know that stress doesn't cause stuttering, it can certainly aggravate it.
Right. Now, you talked a little while ago about the genetics, and there's been a lot of different research done on the brain, obviously, and there's been new brain research that kind of has shown that there are stuttering genes in mice. Do we think that this is going to pave the way for a new path in neurology and stuttering?
Well, it's certainly exciting to have an animal model. With other human disorders and diseases, it's always helpful to have an animal model, and a mouse is particularly helpful. Unbeknownst to most humans, mice actually communicate a lot with each other, and at a very high pitch. So we can't hear them, but they're actually talking a lot. I feel a little silly saying that, but it's true. They do vocalize a lot. And by creating a mouse who has the same genetic makeup as a person who stutters is a real step ahead, because it will enable scientists to study that mouse brain and try to determine what is happening.
Yeah. Again, Jane, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with you this morning. Where can everybody go to get more information about all of this?
Well, be sure to visit our website at stutteringhelp.org, or call us at 800-992-9392.
Awesome. Thank you, Jane. Have a great rest of your holiday season. I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me here on Morning Coffee.
Thank you, Mark.
You're quite welcome. So, guys, just go check it out, stutteringhelp.org, and get all of the information there. Either yourself or someone that can benefit from stutteringhelp.org. So, I got to take a quick break, but you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to stay right there, because I'm going to be right back here on Morning Coffee on the Radio Vision Network.
Choosing the right fence for your home or business is an important decision to make. Choose a Nello fence for peace of mind. Our family has manufactured and installed beautiful maintenance-free fence for over 50 years. We provide vinyl, aluminum, and